Colonial residue. That's what I publicly called Renaldo Gouws 7 years ago. And it turns out I was right. So, let's talk about it.
Rigorous. Gang looking rigorous. My champagne, but I'm rigorous. My campaign looking rigorous. Whole team hella rigorous. Lifestyle so rigorous. Hairstyle so rigorous. Your top 5 ain't rigorous. If you left out this rigorous.
So, Renaldo Gouws.
The South African Human Rights Commission taking suspended DAMP Renaldo Gouws to the Equality Court over his racist remarks.
For those of you living under a rock, Renaldo Gouws is a popular South African YouTuber and a member of the Democratic Alliance. He is, or rather was, a member of parliament in our very new parliament of 2024 for about a week before a video surfaced of him from years ago using the K-word. And if you don't know what the K-word is, it's gaffer. If you, for some reason, are not South African and you're watching this video, gaffer is the equivalent of a white person calling a black American nigger. Not nigger with the A, with the E and a R at the end. What I'm actually here to talk about is vindication. It is the sweet, sweet feeling of absolutely loathing someone for a long time and waiting, patiently waiting for their downfall. And then the day it comes, let me tell you guys, it is sweet. For a lot of black South Africans, the first time they ever heard of Renaldo Gouws, it was in 2017. Now, let me give you a little bit of context. 2017 was the year where I had dropped out of university in order to pursue a career in YouTube full time. I did not have that many subscribers, probably like 3,000. And you know what? That was a lot back in the day for a South African. And I decided I'm going to do this full time. It was my job. I left my school, moved up here to Johannesburg, and then tried, my best to slowly but surely become successful. But in the first few months of me doing so, I had arrived in Joburg in December of 2016. In April of 2017, a video came out of Renaldo Gouws. I think it was something about like being a YouTuber, being a South African YouTuber, something to that effect. And I got sent a link to this video and somebody said, please watch this and tell me what you think. And I watched it and I was like, this is strange. A lot of the comments that he made in that video sounded an awful lot like he was talking about me, because there weren't a lot of me's back then. A lot of South African YouTubers were YouTubers while they were doing their day jobs. Completely understandable in the South African economy. But I was doing it a little bit differently, a little bit more recklessly, you might say, in the fact that I left school in my final year. I left school to try and do this full time, with very minimum subscribers if we're talking on a global scale. Even nowadays, nobody's going to tell you to drop out of school and pursue YouTube just because you have 3,000 subscribers. In his video, Renaldo Gouws mentions things like South African YouTubers are lying to you. They are just clout chasers. Anybody who tells you that they dropped out of school or left their job and they are living full-time off of YouTube is a bold-faced liar. I'm paraphrasing, by the way. I took that personally. I took that very, very personally because one, I safely assumed he was talking about me. The person who sent me the link felt that they were talking about me. And then before I even said anything publicly, I asked the people around me, please watch this video. I basically did what the other person did to me. Watch this video and tell me what you think. And instantly it was like, wow, this is a little bit weird. This is a little bit weird. Very much so when you consider the fact that they were not, I don't know if you could even mention to me right now as somebody who watches YouTube. Back in 2017, how many South African YouTubers did you know who dropped out of school to pursue YouTube full time? And I can promise you, you'll probably say none, because there were very few. I don't think I was the first one or the only one, but there were very few of us. In that video, he also made mention about the fact that he has lots of subscribers. He's one of the top 100 most subscribed to YouTube channel in South Africa. And as a bigger YouTuber, how would he not be able to live? Why does he need a job? And other people who claim that they've dropped out of school to do this somehow are able to live off of that. Like I said, I took it quite personally. I took it personally because that was my brand at the time. Like, I was very openly talking about the fact that I'm a young person. I just moved to Joburg. I don't even really know what I'm doing here, but I'm here to pursue a dream that I have. And then for him to use that as a way to discredit me or people like me really didn't sit right with me. And then to top it off, he made a comment about how people like me are lying about being successful YouTubers when in fact they can't even afford to buy Oros. I really didn't like that because that was whistleblowing. That was saying something without actually saying it. I know, don't get me wrong, many people drink Oros in this country. Oros is the drink of South Africans. But I also know that most of the people who love and drink Oros are people in lower class households who can't afford perhaps a drink that is more expensive. So they drink Oros because it tastes nice and because it's relatively cheap. So not only did I feel like he came for me and my work, but then also he was really racist about it. At that point in time, I had only known Renaldo Gouws as almost like the white version of me and what I was doing. Renaldo Gouws was doing current affairs, I was doing current affairs. Our current affairs was not the same. So our content would butt heads, but not us. We didn't know each other personally, we didn't talk to each other, we didn't interact with each other at all. So I found it very odd that he one day woke up and decided to make this video about how he's so annoyed that other YouTubers are saying that they can make money and he's not making any money. In that video, he also mentions that Google and YouTube are in no way helpful for him as a YouTuber. They're not helping him grow. They're not calling him to chat to him about how, you know, they can be there for him and his YouTube channel and all of that. That really annoyed me. Because at that point in my career, I had just started making money and enough money to pay for my livelihood as a I was 23, 24, didn't have, you know, no kids, no wife, no nothing. I didn't have any bills to pay like that. And so the money that I was making at the time was enough for me. So right after that, I go on Twitter and I absolutely lose my shit. And I start talking about him, very clearly about him. I don't mention his name, same way he didn't mention mine, but I very clearly talk about him. In the discussions that I'm having on Twitter, I mentioned that I think he's a salty white male. He is incredibly privileged. And I also call him colonial residue. Somebody asked, what is a Renaldo Gouws? And I said, colonial residue. Because I felt like he was very racist. And after that, I went and I looked through some of his videos and I could tell it was one of those things where, you know, white people don't understand microaggressions. They really don't understand that concept. If I don't call you a kafir, how can I be racist? And I feel like Renaldo Gouws is literally the epitome of that. You know, if we take away the fact that he did, in fact, call us kafirs, he is the epitome of, as long as I don't say anything overtly, outwardly racist, how can you possibly say I am a racist? So I go out and I make these tweets and I say a whole lot of things about him, about the fact that he's privileged, he's salty. Like, if you wanted to know how to make money on YouTube, you could have just asked me instead of going and making a video about how there's no way you can make YouTube money and, I don't know, be successful or like live a functional life. I was really ticked off at that point. Also because South African YouTube was a very small, close-knit group of people who supported each other quite a lot. So to see this happening was really disheartening. Now it gets to the point where Renaldo is told by someone about my tweets and he goes on Twitter also and we have a back and forth with the tweets, back and forth. And it gets to the point where Renaldo feels now he can take it up a level. On his side, he decided he is going to go look to see if I have worked with any brands. He goes and he finds those brands and then he tweets at those brands. He tweets at those brands saying, how can you guys work with someone like this? With someone who would call me a white South African colonial residue? With someone who would call me a white South African racist? How could you guys work with someone like this? Now he had taken it to another level. Of the brands that he had tweeted, I think 2 of them responded. And they responded rather negatively towards me. To the point where one of those brands fired me. The other brand, I had just finished working with them. They had paid me already. It was whatever. The second brand terminated our contract. I can't talk more about that, but what I can say is it was sorted out in private after the fact. If my memory serves me correct, what happened after those brands reacted negatively towards me, they said things like, you know, we do not stand for any racism of any kind, because he was calling me racist. And they were like, we don't stand for any racism of any kind. And I think one of the brands said, you know, we have worked with Sibu in the past. We are not working with Sibu right now. That's when Black South African Twitter said, wait a damn minute. A white South African guy is calling him racist for saying that he's privileged and for saying he's a salty white male. And you guys are standing up for this. Let me tell you, a hashtag was started. Can't remember who started it. Don't know who started it. It was something along the lines of like, we stand with Sibu or we stand behind Sibu, something like that. And it grew and it grew and it grew. And people who were not even part of the YouTube ecosystem, the YouTube world, they were inside. Because I think if there's one thing South Africans can all rally against, is racism and the lack of reverse racism. So a couple of things happened after that tour, I guess you could call it. One, more people knew about Renaldo Gouws. I apologize to all of you. But two, more people knew about me. I grew in popularity a lot, which is strange because I didn't expect that to happen. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Back then, I was terrified. I had just arrived in Johannesburg. I had just gotten here. I had set foot here. It was April 2017. I moved in December of 2016. So I was horrified. And I remember it even got to the point where I was worried about making more current affairs content. I had gotten backlash for my content before. It was never a problem, especially because it was from white people who were upset that I was calling out racism. And you can imagine this is 2017, which was it was more of a sensitive time in South Africa because a lot of people were being outed for being racist, for racism. It was just after Rhodes Must Fall and Fees Must Fall. So we were all very pop, you know, compared to maybe I can say 10 years prior where we'd let a lot of things fly or just not say anything. These days, when things happened, you guys remember 2015, 16, 17, no white person could move a muscle, a racist muscle, without us getting them fired. So I was terrified. And I think it was actually probably one of the first moments of me slowing down on creating current affairs content. Because I figured, wait, so if a white person can complain about me or my content, the brands will listen to that white person because they are white and I will get fired. And I thought that is the complete opposite of why I moved to Joburg. I moved to Joburg so that I could actually make money off of my content. So, okay, that means I need to be more palatable to white people. I need to speak less on them because clearly they have a power that I didn't even realize. Anyway, I moved on with my life. I became the Sibu Mpanza that you guys know now, who has carried on with his YouTube channel. This is still my full-time job to this day. I have my own place, my own life, my own wife, you know, things are going well. But I won't lie. It really left a sour taste in my mouth all those years ago to think, I don't think there was any like winner or loser in that, but it really left a really ugly taste in my mouth. Also because there were a lot of people who did stand up for him. And some of the people I knew, maybe not on a personal level, but I was acquainted with. There were YouTubers, people who've become now TikTokers and stuff, who was standing up for him. And I think it's also because he was a big guy. You know, when there's a new guy on the block with 3,000 subscribers versus a guy who's been making YouTube videos for years before, 5-6 years before that, with 30,000 subscribers, they're obviously gonna, you know, stand up with the big guy, the guy that they look up to. But it hurt me a little bit. And so I waited. And I waited. And I waited. And now 7 years later, vindication. Like I said, Renaldo Gouws was a DA ward councillor. He was a part of the governing bodies of South Africa. Also, over the years, Renaldo Gouws has had multiple multiple complaints against him from people within other political parties or within politics in general and from the general public. Multiple complaints. And the DA still kept him on every single time. He climbed the ladder, guys, the political ladder. Let me tell you, okay, we look at these politicians and we look at what they do and we're like, what do you guys actually do for us? But I can tell you for free that to climb the ranks within politics, it's not an easy thing to do. You have to work the system and it takes years. This year, Renaldo Gouws became a member of the new parliament. Unfortunately, it did not last even a week until that video resurfaced. I actually wrote down a really funny part about the DA's statement after, all of this came out. There was a part where they say, this video is in fact genuine and not fake as initially expected. When somebody has been complained about multiple times and specifically for racism, how in any world can you ever say that it was not expected? It was expected to be fake? In what world? In what world? If I know that my friend is a kleptomaniac and then I see a video of my friend stealing something out of someone's boot, I am not gonna say, hey guys, I did not expect it. I am as shocked as you are. There's no way, guys. But I think what this shows us is that this is the true nature of the Democratic Alliance. And I will never, ever stop saying that. They all knew, or at least enough of them knew, to stop his climb up the ranks to becoming a member of parliament. It has been years that man has been working inside the DA and he still grew. Year after year, he climbed the ranks to now what is possibly the peak that he could have probably gotten to without becoming, I don't know, some big shot in the DA to becoming president in like 20 years time. This is probably his peak and he reached it for a few days, but he still reached it. He still became a member of parliament. And the fact that the DA can say the video is in fact genuine and not fake as initially expected, just unreal. So as of shooting this video, the DA has suspended him. I think the South African Human Rights Commission is sending him to, I think they call it Equality Court. And I know what a lot of you guys are going to say. Suspension is not enough. And I agree with you. A suspension is not enough. Renaldo Gouws should get fired and there should be some kind of punishment for what he said. I don't care that he said it 16 years ago. I don't care that he said it 16 years ago. He sat down, he made a video, he said those words knowing what he was doing. And the best part is that he didn't stop his racism. He just hid it. He didn't stop and become better and understand more and realize why he might have been in the wrong to say that. He didn't. He just learned how to cover it up so that he could climb the political ranks and be a high leading official in the DA. And that he did, and he did it very, very well, to the point where he became a member of parliament. I don't know if I've said it, but it was only for a couple of days, not even a week. Not my camera overheating. So, where was I? While I was doing a little bit of research to remind myself of a lot of things that happened years ago, I came upon a article, not an article, I don't even know what you call it, but basically a publication had written an article about the situation. The headline was, Renaldo Gouws takes tour with Sibu Mpanza too far. Right? That was the thing. And basically, I didn't find the article, but I found like an article or ruling by the press council. So what I think happened is that Renaldo Gouws went to the press ombudsman. Is that how you say ombudsman? Renaldo Gouws went to the press ombudsman and they complained about this article and how it's like false and misleading and blah, 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 blah. So they did a back and forth about what the article said. The article was relatively positive about me and quite negative about him. He didn't like the article for many reasons, but the one I'm going to focus on right now is the headline of the article, which is Renaldo Gouws takes his tour with Sibu Mpanza too far. What they meant when they wrote that article is that Renaldo Gouws and I were having a tiff online, shop. Renaldo Gouws has a job, a 9 to 5 as a DA ward councillor. I do not have a job. I am purely a YouTuber. Then Renaldo Gouws goes after my livelihood, the only livelihood that I have. If I went to his brands that he was not working with, I would have messed that up for him, sure, let's say, for example, but then he would have still had a 9 to 5. I, on the other hand, by taking away the only jobs that I had, he was messing with my livelihood. Sharp, hold on to that. When they say that, when the editor of this publication says that to the press ombudsman, that's why we named the headline that, because we felt like he took it too far by going after his livelihood. This is what Renaldo Gouws' reaction was. This is what he wrote back, okay? It's all here. He wrote back, I was not racist. Instead, racism was showed towards me. And then he goes on to say, is joblessness an excuse for racist behavior? Is joblessness an excuse for racist behavior? This tells me all I need to hear. Because we know that Renaldo Gouws was racist, he himself believes that racists, because he was calling me that, he himself believes that racists should be jobless. Or rather that it doesn't matter if they are jobless or not. These are his words. Is joblessness an excuse for racist behavior? So, what I'm saying to the DA, with that being said, with you guys knowing what Renaldo has done, and now knowing how he feels racists should be treated, I hope he gets treated the exact same way. Is joblessness an excuse for racist behavior? Suggesting that Renaldo Gouws understands that there is nothing wrong with making sure that a racist loses their job. With that being said, I don't think we can downplay how truly bad this is for the Democratic Alliance. It is a bombshell, and it's not something people are going to forget very easily. I know this is politics and everything can be swept under the rug, but it is really bad for a party that is now coming into more power. It shows that, one, they don't do their due diligence, but overall that they don't actually care. That if you are racist, if you can go around on a public platform and say,
kill the fucking Kafirs, kill all the fucking niggers,
it's still fine. You can still become a member of parliament. Don't worry, okay? Don't worry. Same way, even if you're a rapist, you can still become president of this country, okay? Anything is possible, guys. You just have to... As much as I am saying that this is really bad for the DA, I also think that they are going to use him as a scapegoat. They are probably going to fire him. I hope they do. But even then, they will do that as a positive PR move to say, look, okay, when we do find out that people are racist, because we didn't know before, we had no idea. But when we do, when we see the facts, when we see it in video form, we fire them. We toss them out. We exile them. Look at us. We are not a racist organization. We are just the Democratic Alliance. Let me know what you guys think. How do you guys think they're going to handle this? The South African Human Rights Commission is sending him to Equality Court. I wonder what the ruling is going to be. It's probably going to take a while. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, that's my story. That's my story about how I was in probably the first YouTube beef in South Africa. Wild story. But if anyone ever tells you, man, that your hate won't pay off, just tell them they haven't waited long enough. Kukho lento ibizwa compound interest, and as if niyazi compound interest. Sayifunda ku grade, was it 9 or something like that when we started, I don't know, economics. But the compound interest, guys, it grows and it grows and it grows and it waits. It waits. It doesn't knock him down when he's still just a little ward councillor. It waits until he's a member of parliament, and then I'm shy. I'll see you guys soon with another video. I love you very much. Mwah! Peace.